Mugisha is also in. I'm seeing others whom I might not have noticed, but I'll get the names. Yeah, that's Kiza. Yes, yes. Oh, and then our very own Honorable Nachwara Chiingi. Yes, please, Honorable. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So let's proceed. Honorable Muwada Nkunyinji.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I'm rising as a Shadow Minister, Foreign Affairs, over a bloated Uganda delegation to the 78th United Nations General Assembly. Right Honorable Speaker and members, it has been reported that Uganda sent a delegation of 71 persons. 10 of them were accredited, 60 not accredited, but appeared as advisors. We hear and we have read that the Minister of Foreign Affairs accredited his own wife, Honorable Keroriem. The Right Honorable Prime Minister attended and appeared as an advisor, not as a representative. We have had contradicting media reports with the voices of the Prime Minister alleging that she never authorized the Minister for General Duties Office of the Prime Minister. It is also on record that Uganda has a mission in New York, funded above 16 billion, at least by last year, to cater for our engagements with the UN. And equally, for months now, the Foreign Affairs Ministry has not tabled a codified foreign policy for Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, I now pray that the Minister of Foreign Affairs be directed to brief this House on how the delegation was sanctioned and purpose of each member on the delegation. To brief this House on the progress of codifying Uganda's foreign policy that would guide our international engagements, including bilateral and multilateral engagements, including the selection of who could represent Uganda at such a forum. Because this wasn't the first time Uganda is represented, but we are questioning how come we had a bloated delegation that we term as wasteful expenditure, at least as opposition. And lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that the following persons, being members of this Honorable House, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Robin Anabanja, Honorable Kasule Lumumba, Honorable General J.J. Odong, Honorable Okero Oriem, Honorable John Murimba, and Engineer Hilary Onek, be directed to come and make a personal statement to substantiate their role in the anomaly cited in this bloated delegation. I beg to submit.
Now, honorable colleagues, the Shadow Foreign Minister has raised an issue that has been in the media that long. So let the Minister for Foreign Affairs come on Thursday and explain as requested. The issue of statements for personal explanation is provided for under Rule 55. It's voluntary. It's voluntary. You cannot direct a member. If a member has broken any rules of this House and all that, you have other ways of us sending him to the or her to the Committee on Rules. But for personal explanation, it's up to a member. If a member feels that they want to, they would. Now, since I've requested that, since I've guided that the Minister for Foreign Affairs comes on Thursday with a comprehensive statement on this matter, I would request that for now we stop at that. We first get a statement, because the minister who wrote for the accreditation of all these people will explain what they were going to do and whether they went or not. Okay? I think for now we can leave it at that. Then I hope you still want to open it.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. With no intention to impeach your guidance, as well sought after, But I'm also aware, sir, that the Minister of Foreign Affairs did not travel as the team leader. He was actually a subordinate in the team. He had a principal. I had two principals, Her Excellency the Vice President and the Prime Minister. And because since matters became public, some of comments from the Prime Minister border on the Bano, really being leader of government business. Right Honourable Speaker, may it please you that you ask of the Right Honourable Prime Minister to appear and assure this House that one, she's in charge. Two, that actually she's aware of what took place. Because being Prime Minister and is all over public media explaining uncoordinatedly her role in the botched, travel, would it be proper with the intelligence that she comes as leader of government? Because we need her confidence here when she appears.
Thank you.
She is quoted in public media belating her subordinates, including name calling, which is uncharacteristic of her. She must be angry. We need to leave her of the anger by having this platform to share in her frustration. We can actually tell who is really causing all this unnecessary noise and causing the right. To
begin with, whether you're a vice president, whether you're a prime minister, whether you are accredited by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Okay? So, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs must give the reason, must know the reason as to why they are accrediting you. So that's why it's very important for Honourable Minister, I would request you to first leave this matter on. Okay? Now, so the Minister for Foreign Affairs will come. But you see, on the side of government, some of you who have read a lot of books, a lot of literature, there's a book called Darkness at Noon by Arthur Koestler. Now, in that book, gentleman was having a situation where they were fighting fire. Now, they had everyone bringing pumps to fight the fire. They were pumping water to fight the fire, but the fire wasn't going out. Until when they discovered that some people were using water to put out the fire, and others were using fuel to put out the fire. So there was, they were neutralizing each other in one way or another. That's what I'm seeing. On this matter, on the side of government, some are using water, others are using fuel. And that's why the fire is not going out. And in such a situation in many countries, if you're not steady, parliament comes in, and parliament usually comes with fuel. It doesn't usually come with fire. So for now, it doesn't usually come with water. So for now, I would advise you that please use water on your side. Stop the fuel. Okay? We don't want these issues. We don't enjoy it. These are, we don't enjoy it at all. So I hope you can talk together and you see a way of resolving issues in a more decent and calm manner. So the Prime Minister is here. I'll give the opportunity to the leader of opposition on Thursday to put it to her, and I'm sure she will answer. Okay? Yeah, so colleagues, let's handle issues of national importance. We're going to substantive order paper. So, Honorable Atim Agnes, appear. I'll pick you after. Our colleague is indisposed, so when you see her.
Thank you very much.
And welcome you back, Honorable.
Thank you, and thank you for all your prayers. Right Honorable Speaker, I bring the issue of ban movement of livestock across Nakasongola Namasale Ferry. This ferry is meant to be a public good, and everyone is supposed to enjoy the right of movement. But for the past few years, our people are being stopped from the side of Nakasongola to cross the ferry with their livestock. And yet from the other side of Amolatar, the same livestock are actually allowed. They are told to travel additional 310 kilometers, and yet they would have just crossed 15 kilometers across the lake. Livestock trade is a major economic activity in this area. And as I talk now, the communities on the side of Amolatar are mobilizing to now stop anybody or any vehicle, anything from the side of Nakasongola. We see a brewing kind of conflict among these communities. The district's security committee has made all efforts to contact the other side of the lake, but all in vain. I personally intervened and talked to the RDC to understand what is this ban about. But I was told it is orders from above. It is a presidential directive. I demanded to see that directive to no avail. My prayers are twofold, Right Honorable Speaker, that Ministry of Security should give a very clear reason for this ban and what kind of ban and what is it meant for, or else our people be allowed to freely cross the ferry as it is done on the other side. Two, Minister of Presidency need to undertake an investigation on the conduct of the RDC of Nakasongola, who is enforcing this ban in a very unprofessional manner. I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Internal Affairs, you've been handling this issue. What is the problem?
I've taken note of the concern of the Honorable Agnes, and I want to request through you, Chair, that we go back and consult, because it has to do with many ministries. Stock movement is agriculture, then the RDC issue, and then we come back with a concrete response, maybe even act before we come here.
Yeah, please, mainly it's about action, because I understand on the side of Amorata, if you don't work on this, you might also have another catastrophe from that side. You are allowing crossing from one side and blocking the other. So that's a recipe for disaster. So please update the House on Thursday. I'm sure you would have studied the matter. And you will consult with the Minister for the Presidency to see indeed if the RDC is implementing unlawful orders. Honorable Zamdi, you had a point of procedure?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. The procedure issue about the issue on which you have guided. The Vice President by our Constitution is number 2 and actually a president in waiting. I wanted to find out, Mr. Speaker, whether in this matter of quarreling and you will not find space for the Vice President to come and speak to Parliament on this matter. Because the letter of the Minister of Foreign Affairs accrediting the delegation had her as the head. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs is under the Vice President. So I wanted to raise and request you, Mr. Speaker, to allow the Vice President, who rarely is she's here, come and tell us what she went through, because the media reports are really troubling. That they are seated, then they saw the Honorable Prime Minister in her usual style of maverick appearing. So we need the Vice President to tell us really, or even she was able to represent the country, Mr. Speaker. I am requesting kindly.
Thank you. Now I think this is the fuel I was talking about. You know, It's the fuel I was talking about. No, honorable colleagues, let's first receive a statement from the Minister for Foreign Affairs. If we find gaps, okay, then we'll be able to seek more clarification. Number two, if the Vice President, I'm sure she has heard and her team has heard, if she wants to make any statement, let her come and make it. But for now, for us, we need a statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, because you see what is important is the purpose. The purpose. You accredited people for what purpose? If you've accredited so and so, what was the purpose they were going to serve as part of Uganda's delegation? I think that's very, very critical. Because whenever Kamunta, I see you're itching, what's the issue? You've done all signs to attract my attention. Huh? And today is free sitting, honorable colleagues. It's free sitting. You can sit anywhere.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have an emergency. You remember Lake Soro Road was cut off last May. Up to today, the Minister of Works have never intervened. As we speak, it is cut off completely. To access Soro, we must pass via Rwanda.
Honorable Minister?
Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, it's not true, as the Honorable is saying, that to access Kisoro you have to pass Rwanda. But what I'm aware of, we got an issue. The land had slid off and we had a contractor. But because of inadequate funds we had, he abandoned the site. But we are doing all what is possible to get money for him. But alternatively, the road is narrow. It cannot accommodate 2 lanes, but the vehicles are crossing using the 1 lane. And you're working hard as Ministry of Works to ensure that transport on that side moves frequently as usual.
But Honorable, how are you working hard when you've said the contractor is not on the ground? Is that working hard?
Honorable Speaker,
yeah.
As I speak now, we have already given the contractor money, and he requested for 10 days to mobilize. He goes back to fix the problem. That's the hard working I'm meaning. Thank you very much.
You see, honorable colleagues, now we are standing up here. We want to contribute on the matter, okay? The question is, what value will it add if the contractor needs 10 days to mobilize? Okay, apart from the fuel. Now let's go on other matters. Honorable Minister, please hold a meeting with the MPs from Kasese sub-region, especially Kabare, Kisoro, Rwanda, okay? And please ensure you hold a meeting so that indeed you comfort them, you show them what you've done and what is in the pipeline, so that they are able to explain to their people. Honorable Nwagaba is also here from the same.
Maybe some bit of information. With the onset of the rains, the entire stretch of the road from Kaharo to Kabare in those hills, part of it has developed a fissure. And if it goes, the only alternative is the old Kabare road, which you have abandoned. And unless you make some emergency repairs on the old Kabare road, which is a Maram road, although you have promised to tarmac it for the last 30 years to no avail, very soon you will have no heavy vehicles, trucks crossing from Mbarara to the western region, including Rwanda. So you better think seriously about the old Kabale road as an alternative to the winding, hilly Kabaraga road.
Yeah, honorable colleagues, these are issues you should hold the meeting tomorrow, honorable minister. These are issues you hold in that meeting, and then we'll see a way of reporting back about it. In the public gallery this afternoon, colleagues, we have teachers and pupils from Oyam Junior School, Oyam District. They are represented by Honorable Alum Sandra Ogwang and Honorable Dr. Apio Otuko Eunice. They've come to observe proceedings of this house. Please join me in welcoming them. Please you stand up so that we can welcome you. Thank you. Yes. Honorable Watkins.
Thank you.
Honorable Watkins will be followed by Honorable Saro Pendi. What's the problem, Corinne? These are
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's great to have you back in the House, and we've been missing you for a long time. Mr. Speaker, sir, tomorrow is a great, grand day for the people of Kasese, Mr. Speaker. Our community already on the ground, ready and further to receive the King of the Rizururu, His Majesty Singer Charles Wesley Momberry Erimangoma. As Royal Guard #1, I'm so excited and I can't wait. But Mr. Speaker, here is the deal. First of all, on behalf of the Renzururu people, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to express my deepest gratitude to government and specifically to the President of the Republic of Uganda for having facilitated the release of our King. And I know, Mr. Speaker, your office, including the Right Honorable Speaker, Anita Morang, and yourself, Mr. Speaker, and all the elders, including Honorable Moroli Mukasa, and a lot of peace-loving and law-abiding citizens have worked all together to make tomorrow happen. Now, Mr. Speaker, my prayers. We know what happened, and I don't want to rewind a sad story. Mr. Speaker, so back home in the community, we don't have what we used to call a palace. And my prayer this afternoon is to ask government and this parliament that in the next financial year, I ask colleagues to support us and trying to put a voice and a formal request to allow the palace constructed by the government of Uganda. Number two, Mr. Speaker, sorry, tomorrow we're receiving the King, but he's going to be hosted at a subject's house or in a subject's house. That is unfamiliar with kings. And Mr. Speaker, sorry, I again allow me, Mr. Speaker, to again put a request before colleagues and to your leadership or before your leadership to ensure that a palatial home is constructed for the King. Everybody is invited to Kasese, and I'll be so happy if it pleases you, many of you joined us in Kasese to give the King a grand reception. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Watkins, and thank you for providing leadership as far as those issues are concerned. And we wish you fruitful celebrations. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, you've had the issues the Honorable colleague has raised.
I want to thank Honorable Atkins for informing Parliament about the release of our King, His Majesty Wesley Mumbere, And I congratulate the people of Kasese and the entire region. And I thank you for welcoming him back in such a way whereby you are organizing a wonderful celebration for him to welcome him back home. Right Honorable Speaker, the kingdoms, I think they have, let me say, the kingdoms can write to the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and they put their request, whereby Ministry of Gender will put it to the concerned ministry, that is Ministry of Works.
Right, Honorable Prime Minister. You have a way you deal with such matters, okay? Just we would request you to follow up on it, ensuring the colleagues' request.
Right, Honorable Minister, I will follow up the matter, but let him come to me and we handle as required.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, what would be wrong with the member going to a prime minister? Really? And then after you come here, you complain that we look for them, we don't get them. But here on the floor, you're saying you don't want. So, Rob, you wanted to say something on that?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank my colleague, the Honorable Atkins Kasese, for raising matters relating to the kingdom and Bajuda the king. The Honorable Kasese, I apologize, is a very good man. And I find him extremely decent. And I think in his sense of decency, he found it extremely difficult to stand up to the Prime Minister and ask that at the release of the king, who was held incommunicado for more than 4 years, there were subjects murdered in cold blood, those incarcerated without charge for more than 4 years, and those who died in incarceration without justice. That Honorable Speaker, now that this matter has come with a bit of warmth relating to the return of the king to his people, Parliament is a house of neutrality, but Parliament is the firewall between the people and an eternal criminal state. States by their nature are criminal, if you understand statecraft. And when you have parliaments, they must stand between the people and the criminal state. Right, Honorable Speaker, will it please you to ask of the Prime Minister to come to the House and also make an account to the country how matters of justice have been handled in this community, that the return of the king is not a ritual, but a restoration of the sense of dignity of the people of Kasese, and understanding that when there are misunderstandings in this country, the gun can never be the solution, Honorable Speaker. Will it please you to instruct the Prime Minister at the return of the king, at the sense of identifying with the people, to make a statement here on the sense of justice, Honorable Speaker? I so pray.
Thank you. Now, Rob, you had gotten misguided because when you said the Honorable Kasese is a very decent man, That's why he didn't open the wounds. Now, when he started opening the wounds, I said, is rope indecent? Yet I know him is very decent. Okay. Please, Honorable Arion, take your seat. Yes. So now I was asking myself. So now, Honorable colleagues, the people of Kasese are celebrating. Okay. I don't want to cause any anxiety in their celebrations. Rope, anytime, I think you can raise this matter, but let's give them a chance. They first celebrate, okay? Yeah, if they went through the court process and all that and whatever they agreed upon, let's first give them a chance. They celebrate, then these issues can be handled. Because I know Honorable Atkins is among the people who are very tough on these issues. Now, when you see him speaking like this, he's raising the voice of his people. So let us not overshadow their celebrations with Parliament directing investigations into what went wrong and all that. Okay, yeah. But anytime we'll look into that.
We now want to go deep to interrogate the paper that has been presented. And I have distinguished Ugandans, distinguished global citizens who are going to lead in the discussion.